Good morning, everybody. Amethyst here with you. This is my higher self. And we are going to touch on a subject that woke me up really early this morning. So this might be a little long, and I'm sorry in advance. I tried to shoot this earlier, or about 5 minutes ago, and the dang thing froze up and booted me out. So we're going to just start over. I think I brought it up once before on my other channel, and I'm going to bring it up here as well. Technically, I am, if you're going to get actual technical about it, I am not supposed to be on this planet right now. And I don't take that the way you think you're going to take that. Back in the 70s, my mother was taking birth control, and back then it was some strong, potent stuff. I honestly do believe she was trying to abort me using birth control. She didn't want girls, and she ended up with 2. Anyway, so I managed to make it through that, and I think I've brought it up before. When I came out, they had to hook all kinds of machines up to me. I don't know for sure whether I really did have a seizure or not, but I was hooked up to a whole bunch of machines. So I don't learn. I have a learning disability. I don't learn things the way people do. As you can tell, I have a lazy eye. So I'm not legally blind, but I'm visually impaired enough where I can't drive. But I can see well enough to clean my house, take care of my kid, walk around wherever I need to go, things like that. Okay, I have enough vision to be able to do that. I just can't drive. That's right now. Okay, and I learn things differently. So we are going to discuss the paranormal and the supernatural as it pertains to this channel. And we're going to start from when I was a child. Now, I didn't have very many fears. Being a Taurus, most people don't. Most Tauruses really don't. They're like lions. They're like Leos. They just kind of push right through everything. So I remember one night I was laying in my bed. I had to have been possibly 10, 11 years old. And I remember coming out of my body. I look down and I see myself sleeping. And I felt myself float from out of my doorway up the staircase and float around upstairs. I don't know how I ended up back in my body in the morning, but I did. That was my first experience. Okay. Years later, I was married to my first husband at the time. We lived in California, in the high Sierras. At the time it was called Caribou Corner. It later got renamed to Caribou Crossroads. I don't know if it still is. And it's a campground, RV campground with a main house, a little cabin, and like showers, and I don't know if the phone booth is still there or not, and a cafe, a little convenience store inside the cafe. So we were heading to we were heading somewhere. We were heading to Quincy, which was 30 miles up the hill, to get some things. But we wanted to check out Ketty, which is along the way, probably about 3 miles up the hill. So as we're getting ready to turn down this hill, all of a sudden both of us looked at each other and went, no. I started getting the shakes. I started freaking out. We need to get the hell out of here. I didn't envision, like I was able to do later, what actually happened to that family and the kids that were staying there. There was a lot of rumors surrounding that. A lot of them. But needless to say, we got the hell out of there. I felt safe in that area where we lived at. I felt really, really safe. Surrounded by the trees and the river. It was calming. But from the time I was a young lady, a young woman, even as a child, I always felt like I didn't belong anywhere. And it was weird. I didn't know what gifts. I knew my ex-husband was gifted, very, very gifted. But I didn't know. Well, hopefully we didn't get far. So years later, I was remarried. And we were living to my second husband. And we were living in Woodland Park, Colorado. And the mobile home that we lived in was very haunted. We had a roommate at the time. And we drove we have like mountains up there. And we went and took a drive. And it was pretty scary. Like there was something telling us to go home. I was pregnant with a set of twins. I had lost a baby before this, but it was because my body just wasn't ready. However, this time I was pregnant with a set of twins. Junior and Catherine. And I named them, Junior was named after my husband at the time, and Catherine was named Catherine Angela after my mother and his mother. One afternoon, because when you're pregnant, you sleep a lot. Your body's just exhausted and tired. And I had a Jack Russell Rat Terrier at the time. And he noticed something. And so this dog liked to sleep underneath the blankies. But he comes popping his head out, and there is a man standing at the foot of my bed by the door. And he's standing there just looking at me. And I could see his full form, everything. He was like solid. And when he disappeared, I could, the lingering smell of cigarette smoke stayed put. This guy gave me the creeps. I could see his dark hair, his dark eyes, the way he was built. Creepy as shit. Okay. A few days later, I'm laying in that same bed, having a nap. And this person, I think Kat disappeared because she was scared, and Junior just absorbed her body. Now we're going to talk about this. This is Junior. Now, this is what I believe happened. The same entity entered my room again, because he liked to watch me sleep, apparently. And he was started out at the foot of the bed. He came around to where I was sleeping, and I could feel his hands reaching into my stomach. And I could feel it, which means this little guy right here would have been one strong little dude. And he murdered him. I know technically you're not supposed to do that, but I don't care. That's the way I see it. He murdered him. But he was so far along, I had to basically, they considered that a stillbirth, because he was 20 or 21 weeks, and we hadn't figured out what he was, but I knew what he was. But this was the first. The next year, we are going to talk about her. Her little box. We're going to talk about her next. So when that roommate left that we had, that entity was attached to, I think he took him with him. But then we ended up with what a lot of people would refer to as a succubus in the house, when we left, or when that dude left. We'd rearranged the house, the bedrooms and everything, and I got pregnant again. And I was sitting on the couch, and I felt her around. I could feel her around me. And I could feel the jealousy radiating off of her in waves. She wanted my husband at the time. That's what she wanted. And she thought by harming our child, our unborn child, she was going to be able to get him. So, I'd seen her before. I know exactly what she looked like. She was tall, long blonde hair, and black eyes. She wanted him. She wanted him so badly, she also, as I'm sitting on a couch, also murdered my daughter. And it was bad enough that the week before, we had just found out that she was a she. We just found out. This is Erica. Erica Robin. That's, ooh, that's how bad that was. You'll have to excuse the trash man's doing his business. Anyway, so she would get, when she found out that plan of hers didn't work, I actually had him go into the room where I saw her multiple times and say, "This is not right. I don't want to be with you." And he did it. She also, between the two of them, they messed up my womb, turned it on X-axis. So then I went and opened what used to be our old bedroom door. And I didn't see it. Someone else saw what was in that room after that. I felt hands grabbing my throat and trying to squeeze. I basically had to tell the thing to get off of me. And it did. It never messed with me in that house again. Soon after that, we moved to Ohio. And not the first house we moved into, but the second one, there was something attached to one of the bedrooms. I think it was attached to a friend of ours, in all honesty, and she left it there. And the second time I was attacked, technically in that, physically attacked, not the throat this time. I felt like it was squeezing the air out of me. Squeezing the air out. That sucked. Luckily, someone was with me, and we stuck the thing in the wall. That was scary as fuck. So years later, we moved back to Colorado. And we didn't have anything really happening. Something telling us we were going to be able to have a child when we got back. So when you hear me say my son is the rainbow baby, miracle baby, all in one, he really is. Not just because he is the miracle baby 4 times over, but there was 2 rainbows in the sky the night he was born. Next time I got attacked, we were helping his mother with her journey to help her do some healing. And I needed to go change my son's diaper. And the area that we stopped at, I could feel the negative energy, and I had to go through it in order to change his diaper. And I felt like I was being held back, like a big, huge, stop, like a big wall of energy. And I had to cut through it in order to change his diaper and walk back through it. They were not happy with me. When we moved into the blue house, our first house in Pueblo, I would see things. They weren't bad at all. They weren't evil. They were just coming to check, and then they would leave. However, when we moved into our second house, that had attachments that were there. Whoever built that house, I don't know if they built it in a really bad area or what, but there was entities, demons, and all kinds of shit attached to that house and the property. We've seen a couple of them. Oh, she's really trying to call me. So that's horrible. So that's when I started getting the things like spirit box to figure out what the fluff was happening. I'd been attacked. I'd been taken over a couple times, luckily not for long, and a bunch of other things. And I came out of it, thankfully, and now I'm here. So whatever was trying to break us up in that house, they succeeded. Which, when we moved to Pueblo, we knew somebody that we knew practiced candle magic, and I'm pretty sure she had something to do with it as well, toward the end. And now that we are up here, this land, some of it is cursed up here. It's come through the box. We do have a skinwalker, apparently, but it won't mess with me. And we do have a few other things. I know that Joanna Beach, I think. I don't know how to say that properly, which is part of the ocean. There's something going on there. And I know that because every time I go there, I am sick for a couple of days afterward. The skinwalker thing happened up at our lake. I didn't see it, but I left a gift of my old wedding ring for them. I think that's why they don't mess with me. So, as I'm going along my journey, I'm finding out that I can communicate with the other side in more than one ways than one. I can communicate. If anybody tells you you can't communicate with your children that are on the other side, they're full of shit. And whatever else. So take away what you can with this. And it's part of who I am. A part of me. Does that mean I still believe in the Most High? I still believe in Jesus. And things have become a lot more of who I am comes from up there. And I know it, and I feel it every day. And thank you for, this was not a video for sympathy for those that I lost. Just so we can get that out of the way. This is not about sympathy. No sympathy needed. Because I needed to deal with that to know how to deal with these entities and these spirits and how to communicate with them properly. I also have my soul sister that helps along the way as well. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was so long, and I will see you all later. Love y'all. Amethyst out.